Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, The School of Love. My name is Maria and I am helping people discover their inner potential for love towards oneself and towards the others. In today's video, I will talk about a very important topic for everyday life, which refers to the procedures by which we can change our patterns. So what do I mean by that? Very often, depending on the stage you're finding yourself in life, we become annoyed with ourselves. And we are so annoyed that we start a process of despising and at some point even hating ourselves. So this refers to every person individually, and sometimes it transcends our individuality tones because the self-loathing does not have space anymore to grow inside oneself. It starts to spill over in our attitude and our gestures towards the others. And in order to change something about those spillovers of toxicity and negativity, there are actually 3 simple steps. Once one knows those simple steps, they are really almost natural. And in this video, I'm going to talk about these 3 little steps in order to get rid of negative attitudes, negative gestures, negative states of mind, and to pursue a life of fulfillment and contentment. And before I start, then I'll try to first answer a question. Why do I think this is important? Why do I think it's important to pursue a life of contentment and fulfillment rather than a life of greatness and extraordinary being? Well, I feel that the world is already full of people who want to be extraordinary and who are pursuing relentlessly greatness. There's nothing wrong with that. Actually, it's very admirable. But there are the people who actually would simply want to have a peaceful life, to be at ease with themselves and with the others, and just to go on with their lives without this feeling of always being in competition with someone else, of always having to prove something to someone else or to themselves. And I believe, it is my personal belief, that being an ordinary human being, a decent human being, a reliable and self-reliant citizen is in itself a great virtue. And I believe that attaining that state of self-acceptance is a fabulous stage from which one can choose later on to pursue some sort of greatness or extraordinary life. But for the time being, in a first attempt to achieve some sort of balance, striving for an ordinary life is not a despicable or a plain goal by no means, by no stretches of imagination. And in the pursuit of an ordinary life, of contentment and fulfillment, it is important to observe one's patterns, to observe one's own limiting beliefs, and then to change them. And in this procedure, the first step is to become aware. Self-awareness, I repeat it again and again, is the first and most important step in healing, in self-discovery, and in growth. Doesn't mean that we have to discover ourselves more than we know of ourselves right now, or that we have to grow into some superior beings. Nevertheless, awareness, self-awareness of our own patterns, of our own habits, of our own intricacies is a very important step. It's a very important skill to possess and then to develop. And once we become aware of our own patterns, let's say recently I have become aware that I have a way of being sarcastic, which is funny for me, but not necessarily funny for those around me. Well, I think my sarcasm is awesome. Unfortunately, not everybody thinks like this. And my son was actually repeatedly pointing out at me that he feels mocked by me, that he feels not being taken seriously, that he feels belittled sometimes. And I always thought, well, he's actually too sensitive. I don't mean it that way. I love him, and I'm just being funny. I'm just trying to bring some light-hearted atmosphere in our interaction, that is all. But then recently, I read a book on toxic people, and one of their features is that they cannot say something straightforward. They cannot praise unequivocally. They cannot just make plain statements without adding some sort of salty comment to it. And then I realized my sarcasm is actually this salty part. And I have decided, and this is the second step, is to let go of that sarcasm, at least for a while. And to just point out things, to call things, to name things the way they are, without sarcasm, without humor, even if it's good humor, good intended humor. Just let it go for a while. For 1 week first. Of course, I caught myself again, and this is the important part. I caught myself being ironic and sarcastic again. And then I let it go again. And instead of just letting go, I replaced it with a new intention. This is very important. Number 3 is set a new intention for a fresh pattern. So instead of being sarcastic, instead of adding that salty comment to every statement, I started by adding a sweet comment, something warm-hearted, something soft, something loving for a change. So it's important to set a new intention for the fresh pattern to be employed, because without this new intention, letting go implies creating a vacuum, creating an empty space where something important used to be, and the universe, the space, our beings, they do not like empty spaces, they do not like a vacuum. So they fill it in automatically with something, and usually it is that thing we are trying to get rid of. So the moment I let go, or something, particularly second or third time I caught myself being ironic again, I set the intention to be warm, softer, kinder, friendlier, and it worked. So I repeat the 3 steps. The first one is awareness. Catch yourself in the act of something, saying something or doing something which you actually know by now it is not good, with that it will have unpleasant consequences. And then let go of that. Let go of being sarcastic. Let go of being smart, spicy smart. Let go of being self-ironic. And immediately set a new intention for a new pattern, for a fresh pattern. Usually try something more positive then that very negative element. It doesn't have to be completely the opposite, because that would be too big, too large, too strong. But set a step above, a degree above of that level of, well, not really toxicity, but negativity, something which hurts the others. And that would be it for today. Thank you for joining me, and I'm looking forward to welcoming you again very soon. Love and peace to you all.